Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
We will start the Talk of the Town presentation in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. If you want to find a seat, please start moving that way. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. We'll be starting the presentation in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You can either sit here to watch the presentation live, or there's an overflow room in the teaching studio in the back of the library. Please feel free to sit wherever you'd like. Test 1, 2. Dollar store. The show will start in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If you can find a seat, head to the overflow room. If you can't find a seat, head to the overflow room. If you can't find a seat in the on the stairway, the overflow room is at the back of the library in the teaching theater.
Can you guys hear? There we go. Testing 1, 2. Hello, hello. There we go. I better not walk too far up there. Whew. There we go. Yeah. All right, last call. We're about to get started. You just need to make sure we're live, because this will all get streamed as you'll all be on camera and you'll all be out there for everybody to see. So make sure you wave and smile real good and all of that. So I'll just set it in the middle here. Does that work? Well, Amit will need it.
Yeah.
All right. Getting some feedback. I think that's good. Are we live? We're ready to go. All right. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thumbs up. Should we keep this building? All right. Yeah, it is an absolute gorgeous facility. And I'll say this on the very front end of this. This isn't just a library, as you can tell. This is truly a community hub. We want the community, just like we're gathering tonight as a community to talk about our community. It's for our friends and neighbors to come and share the experience in this building. As you can see, we have little spots throughout this facility where two people can sit down and talk, have a cup of coffee or that type of thing. We've got all of the rooms up here for HOAs and even businesses. Get out of your office for an afternoon and see the fresh air, see the sunshine, have some meetings over here. I see Kelsey Seabolt here today. Your offices are right down here, but you've got some executive space here that you could have some team building and some opportunity to get outside of the walls of your office and grow and explore and do all that. We see this outdoor space. We see people gathering on the patio even as we speak here. That's what we want to see all of the time in this building. It's for our community to come together, be one Pearland, and hub and come together as a community. With that, I want to welcome the Friends of the Library group up. Amit, come on up and say a few words. Hang on.
Welcome everyone. Thank you everyone for coming today. This has been a dream come true. We've been, as a friends group, trying to get this library from 2018. It took us a long time, but it's here. I thank all the friends group for tireless work, city councilors, county commissioners.
Hang on. There we go.
Mayor Reed, Mayor Cole, our library directors, everybody, and I'm so glad that we are here and all of us can enjoy this beautiful facility that city and county is giving us. With that, I'm going to give this mic back to Mayor Cole. Thank you very much for all coming back.
All right. Thank you, Amit. And he really understated. I just want to say to the Friends of the Library, you guys persevered. It was years, over a decade in the making. And you started out a book drop at the West Side Event Center. And you could pick up books there and you could bring back and drop them off. And it grew to be one of the #1 spots in Brazoria County. That's how we knew we needed more. Then over into the rental space, and then obviously now into this beautiful building. So you guys persevered, you pushed, you asked, and here we are today in a beautiful building. So what I'd like to do is highlight tonight, part of this is highlighting community partnerships. This building and buildings like this across our county don't just happen. So I'd like our first group of panelists, all the folks from the county, to come on up and take a seat. And we're going to have just a little bit of a panel discussion about partnerships and why are partnerships in our community, and we'll start right here, but why partnerships in our community are important, because as taxpayers, you pay a city tax bill, you pay a county tax bill, you pay a school district tax bill, and how does that all work? We don't want it to work against each other. We want it to work together. And how do we take a tax dollar and stretch it further? So with that, first off, if you would just down the panel, introduce yourself and the group you're with, and we'll start with
Hi, I'm
Monica.
Monica Montoya Phelps. I'm a Recreation Superintendent for Pearland Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa LaRonque, and I'm the Director of the Brazoria County Library System.
And I'm Kristen Milanic. I'm the Brazoria County Tax Assessor Collector.
Stacy Adams, County Commissioner for Precinct 3 and Commissioner's Court Liaison to the library system for the whole county.
Wonderful. Let's get that back to Lisa. And we're going to start with Lisa. Obviously, you lead our county and our county library system. So first and foremost, what does this facility mean for you and your department across the county?
Well, this is obviously a wonderful opportunity, and it highlights for us the way that the county and the cities work together to provide so much more than either of us could provide alone. Because in our system, our cities provide the buildings, obviously this gorgeous building being provided by the city of Pearland, and then we occupy it to provide the staff and the collections and programming and resources and network and all of that. So if either of us had to do all of those things on our own, we wouldn't be able to provide the same level. And it also keeps all of the groups bought in to the success of the project. And we feel very blessed as the library system because we interact with all of our cities and the county, but we also have partnerships in every single community that we're in. Beyond the city-county partnership, we also partner with our chambers of commerce. We partner with our institutes of higher learning, the schools, community and schools organizations. And so the way we can interact through all of the levels of our communities is wonderful. And then, of course, our friends groups bring in the grassroots support that allow us to take our services to yet another level because of the support they're able to give us.
So we get more by
Yes.
partnering.
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly right.
That's a key component. And I'll ask you a quick question. So if someone sitting here or online wants to use the conference room or the teaching theater, how would they go about reserving that?
We have an online reserve system, so anybody in the county can reserve any of the rooms in any of our branches. And obviously, people generally reserve the rooms in the branch closest to them. But anyone who needs the room, it's free of charge, provided the purpose of your meeting is also nonprofit. Then the rooms are free of charge and available.
So what if a company, for-profit, for example, wanted to use the conference room? Would
Then
there be a charge for that?
It becomes a question of what they want to do with it.
Okay.
If they're going to be making money, then we expect to make a little too.
Fair enough. Fair
Generally.
enough. Well, and again, it's there if they want to get their executive team
Right.
out and have a meeting in a different setting. You know, that I think we want to encourage that.
Yes, exactly, and generally we have any number of private companies that come in and do training in our meeting rooms, and meeting room space, as anybody in any of our communities know, is always at a premium.
Right.
And this space is so flexible and has provided so many different opportunities for that kind of space to be available to the community. It's going to be an incredible benefit, not just to Pearland, but to all of the areas around here.
Right, right. Kristen, so Kristen, you, what is this building and what services in the tax office will be available for the residents of Brazoria County?
Right, so obviously everyone's favorite, we collect property taxes. I know, and actually we collect for 57 different taxing entities, which includes the city of Pearland as well as Pearland ISD. But on top of that, we also do all of the registration and titling services on behalf of the Texas Department of Motor Vehicle. So what does that all necessarily include? Well, just to state the high-level things that we mostly get through our offices is your window sticker, your registration renewal, we can take care of that for you. Any type of title transfers, if you are a new resident of the state of Texas, you can apply for a Texas title through our office. You can also apply for disabled veteran license plates and placards. Any type of just regular disabled placards is normally what we have coming through, and those are things that we can take care at this sub-office. We also have a sub-office in our Pearland East location is what we call it, off of Galveston Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on what side of Pearland that you're on, there's a location closer to you.
So would this substation, if you will, this satellite office, would it have happened had you had to build your own building?
Absolutely not.
See,
And definitely not the beautiful facility
So,
of it.
and that's important because it's bringing county services closer to the residents rather than having to go to Angleton or having to go on the east end of town. And over there, it's in a shared type of
Yes.
facility as well. So you're not having to move too far out of your community in order to do that. So what will happen with the Cullen location when this is open?
So this location here at the library will replace the Cullen office.
Okay.
As soon as we figure out a few minor things left here at this office, and we'll communicate that out when the switch will take place. But yes, the Cullen office will be closing and repurposed for city
Right.
purposes, and we'll have the location here.
Yeah, our police department's growing, so I think we need the space. But, so again, it highlights partnerships, helping our community in their services.
Absolutely.
Very,
It's
very
a huge
important.
benefit to Pearland residents that they're not having to drive to Angleton to handle,
Right.
get their registration sticker.
Right. Well, more to come. And what do you think of this office and this space, function-wise and efficiency-wise?
It's been great. A huge thank you to you and all of the city staff that helped us get to where we are to make that tax office ready, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word. But yeah, it's
Well,
been great.
And I want to make sure these guys understand that your predecessor was on the early stages in planning of this, and of course she retired, and then you were elected at the end of 2020, and this building was already coming up out of the ground. So you had an opportunity, last year to make a few changes and tweaks, and so we worked with you to make sure that we
Yes.
made the space your own a little bit.
Yes,
So,
and thank you again for that.
Good, good.
It's been great. It'll be great for the staff and great for our constituents.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Commissioner? So obviously this is a different kind of building than what we're used to. We've talked about library. Talk a little bit about other partnerships between the city of Pearland and the county. And we've had those partnerships for decades, but a lot of people don't know it.
You're right. We have for a long time. And some people see us like a road and bridge. We do programs inside cities to get some of those road and bridge dollars back in the city. And that's one of the few things people probably see, but many times there's other roads. The feeder road between 59 and 518, where the city needed to forward that project, and we were a partner financially. And if you want to go back a few years, the same could be said about Cullen Boulevard or Dixie Farm Boulevard. The part of those road and bridge dollars you pay to the county are coming back into the city. So there's a host of partnerships. That's just one of the things we think about. There's small things like just yesterday, the county judge and I hosted at the Shadow Creek Sports Complex a dog and food pickup from Humane Society. And within a day or two of us being asked to find a location, there was a Zoom meeting set up. Monica, being in charge of the facilities because we needed a place. And I mean, there's a partnership. We didn't have to pay for anything. It worked out great. So those sort of things that we see all the time. And then there's partnerships you don't see or don't think about, like when you go cast your ballot in May, for your city council. Those elections are run by the county clerk's office. She is our elections administrator. It's a partnership we have with our cities. And some other ones like mosquito control for nuisance and disease control. There's a host of things where we work together all the time.
You mentioned roads. We've had a partnership on just overlay. I mean, you guys have crews and the capability, and the city typically doesn't have that on hand and do that. So how many miles?
On asphalt roads,
Asphalt
not your concrete
roads,
ones,
yes,
always want to
asphalt.
clarify it. The city's been getting around 4 to 5 miles. It depends on if it's overlay or if it's a rebuild. And that, once again, everyone pays a road and bridge tax to the county. And if you live in the city, it's one way of getting those dollars back. And that's been going on for years and years. It was overlay only, and then we moved into doing some rebuilds as well for cities.
Yeah, so what's important is if we were doing that on our own, the tax dollar that we would have to spend to do it, it's our tax dollars already spent through Road and Bridge and others that are coming back into our community to help make our community better.
Correct. If y'all farmed it out, there would be a private company showing a profit and having a lot higher cost where all you do is buy material and your labor and equipment's already paid for.
Right.
By
So
the
that's a
county.
partnership that benefits, and we've got that on a schedule on an annual basis of who, what, and where, and we, our engineering and others sit down with the county on an annual basis and program what we're going to do for the year, and that partnership's been going on literally for decades, and we appreciate the county being there. I will mention, and you might even be able to speak to this a little bit. We don't have our Missouri County Drainage District number 4 folks here, but I know you served as a commissioner with that entity for several years. But a lot of people, like on drainage, they don't understand the partnership sometimes between the city and our drainage district. We have some interlocal agreements with them that they do some maintenance on some roadways in some areas that are really our responsibility. And I think we've actually put a number to that if we were doing it on our own, it would be to the tune of some $6 to $7 million a year. So again, it's that partnership between the city and our county partners and our other entities that we're able to take our tax dollars and stretch them further and further.
Yeah, I mean, I know they do a lot of mowing for the city on
Right.
detention ponds.
Right.
Did, and I think they still do with
do.
the MOU in place. But yeah, the drainage district, I can't say enough about them. We have roadside ditches we maintain, but all that water goes into one of the creeks, Mary's Creek, Chicker Creek, Clear Creek, you name it, that they are in charge of. And so we have to work hand in hand with them all the time. And
Right.
they're great partners.
Right. So it just makes hopefully our government work for you, not against you. So Monica, with the Parks Department, and obviously you guys are partnering with people not only within the city but outside. So share with the folks a little bit about some of the great partnerships that you guys are tackled with and working with.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we can start. Excuse me. We can start right here with the library. There we have our Dolores Fenwick Nature Center, which is part of our Parks and Recreation, one of our facilities, part of our Natural Resources Division. I think Pearland just makes beautiful buildings, right? Because we just celebrate our 3rd birthday of the Nature Center there. And our DFNC is home to Educatey. She's our very own park naturalist. There's lots of partnerships that have happened there between just within the school systems, but also the library of coming in and doing programs and things like that here, but then also within our green spaces of having the library come to our parks whenever we were trying to spend more time and be safer outside, right? And so lots of program opportunities there, but then also, just kind of looking at, and I think Lisa had already said it, of like, you can do a little bit with what you've got, but when you join together with other people and remember that you're all kind of serving that common goal of bringing things to the community, and how can you kind of pull your resources together to just make something more grand?
Absolutely. And I'll finish with this. You mentioned the frontage roads. So it was more than just city and county. We had city, county, TxDOT, and then the Economic Development Corporation was in there as well. And so if any one of those, if it had just been up to TxDOT, I don't know that we wouldn't have it. And in fact, the west side frontage road, the TERS and the developers out here participated in that as well. So you actually had 4 or 5 entities that were a part of that partnership. And if the partnership didn't happen, we were waiting simply on TxDOT, I don't know, we may still not have frontage roads. So we were able to get it faster, quicker, and everybody eating a bite rather than everybody having to choke the whole thing. And it really made it made it better for us. So we really appreciate that. And we appreciate each one of you, what you bring to the table, what you bring here in this building. We want to see, obviously, those partnerships grow in all of our facilities. We have sports facilities and not only park facilities, but this phenomenal facility. We want to showcase and highlight these partnerships. So I thank you all for your time, for you being here today, what you mean in our community, and let's just continue to do more, okay? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. So at this point in our program tonight, I'd really like the opportunity to open up for questions from anyone in the floor. This is a town hall. I know we're going to bring some programming and bringing some information to you. I'm actually going to be bringing up a couple of our council members here in just a minute, but I want to open it up to those in our audience that might have a question from the floor. Now's your time. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, I know you spoke about Brazoria County. There's a portion of Pearland that is in Fort Bend.
Right.
And so what is the partnerships there that are helping our community that's part of the Fort Bend side?
It's less, I'll just say that, just simply because the amount of property we have right there. But we do have probably our strongest partnership over in Fort Bend County is going to be through their emergency management operations and those types of things. And you'll see FM 521 and all of the work that's going on 521 is a partnership with Fort Bend County as well as TxDOT and the city of Pearland. So you're seeing all of, again, roadways don't necessarily get built with one entity. It takes multiple entities to work through that. But the biggest one is going to be emergency management operations and those types of things, because emergencies don't know boundaries. When we have them, it's across all bounds. So it's a good question. Harris County, very similar. We have a lot more territory in Harris County as you go all the way up to the Beltway. But we do have those partnerships there. In fact, we're working with Harris County now. We have a few grant applications in front of them to expand our trail system. So you've got from the end of Pearland on Clear Creek to the west here all the way to Friendswood. There's about 21 miles of trail. We've got about 7 miles built, so about a third of it. We have, and all of that is a shared boundary between us and Harris County, and so we're working on getting that and working on their funds, because they do have park funds and those types of things to help contribute. So we have several of those applications in front of them. We have 2 county commissioners. That's one thing. We have no shortage of elected officials that represent Pearland. You've got all of our officials and the Brazoria County officials. We have 3 county commissioners that come into Pearland, plus the county judge, and then we've got a county commissioner in Fort Bend. We have 2 county commissioners in Harris County, and so we get the opportunity to work with all of those individuals and hopefully make our community better. As mentioned, all of the lower Kirby area, all that's been going on in that's all in Harris County. It's not in Brazoria County. I know the tax office and others wishes it was in Brazoria County, but it's not, and we have good partnerships in Harris County. They're starting to listen to us a little bit on some economic development opportunities that we have as well, so we want to further those. Next question. Yes, ma'am.
So speaking of the trail system,
Well, we want it for the online audience.
speaking of the trail system, and we love it. I live here in Shadow Creek. It's amazing to be able to go down the trail to the park. Is there a plan, hopefully the answer is yes, to connect the library to the trail, which is not that far behind us?
Yeah, it is. That's one of the next legs of the trail system that we're trying to connect through here. So I don't know the timing off the top of my head, but that is the ultimate plan. In fact, you'll be able to come up and into the library. And just as we're talking about trail, so Shadow Creek Parkway right here, we have in the TERS, we actually have some beautification projects, some sidewalk projects, lighting projects up and down here. So you'll be able to be on the sidewalk here, walk a trailhead on this side of the building and connect to the trail and go. So it'll be great. And of course, Shadow Creek itself has its own trail system, which is second to none. Next question.
Mayor, kudos to everyone who worked together for this building. This is amazing. I mean, this is really state of art. My question may be appropriate or not appropriate, but this is Shadow Creek. We stay in Shadow Creek. I always wondered since I came here, so why are the schools out here part of Alvin ISD and not Pearland ISD? Maybe it's not relevant, but I would like to know the answer.
No, it's a good question, and a lot of people ask that and wonder that. So just to share with you, school districts' boundaries and city boundaries are not the same. Just like if you move into Houston, there are multiple school districts in Harris County and in the city of Houston. For those of us in Pearland, we have 6 school districts. So obviously Pearland and Alvin, the 2 biggest. Fort Bend, as mentioned, Fort Bend ISD. You go just across the creek and you're in Houston ISD. You move further east and you'll go into Pasadena ISD, Clear Creek ISD, and technically we have a 7th, as there's a cul-de-sac on the far east end that has about 3 houses in Friendswood ISD. So, and I know that because I knocked on their door 2 years ago. Yeah, and you're like, see all the Friendswood stuff, and I found them. But it's a great question. But we have a great partnership at the city with all of our school districts. Phenomenal relationships in Alvin and Pearland, certainly with all the campuses. But we actually have campuses in 3 of our districts. So Pasadena has an elementary school, and I believe they've got a middle school that's I think it's the middle school that's under construction right now. Yeah, great question though. It comes up all the time.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Might be a off-the-wall question, but will there be a need, or will y'all have a Pearland police officer station here during working hours?
You talking about like an in-and-out office?
Yes.
I don't know that there's in fact, Ron Frazier sitting right next to you. He might be able to answer that question.
Go figure.
Yeah.
And we can talk. I don't believe there's a plan for that right now, but you know, of course, with all of the things going on here,
right.
You know, the police officers are encouraged to stop by. They will have an office that they can write reports out of and stop in at the fire station,
right. Which is right next door.
A couple of houses,
right.
or a couple of
right.
block down. So,
yeah.
You know, that they're encouraged to come by here, much in the way they're here right now. So, right. They're also over there, you know, working within the fire station.
It's a great question.
Thank you.
Right down. Yes, sir.
Greetings. I'm glad to be here today and glad to hear from you. I just have a question. I've heard the term TERS that you've used. How does that work? Or what is that?
TERS, Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone. So it's a complicated matrix of how all of the funds work and everything else. So I'll do it in I'll be very simplistic with an answer. And if I get it wrong, we've got Clay Pearson at the top of the steps up there that can add to it. So really and truly, the way an increment zone works is day one, this is all raw land out here, or it's got some value on it. And so there is a value attached, and the city will get, county, any entity, county, school district, or whatever that participates in the TERS will get that baseline of value forevermore. And then as increment, more value comes on the ground, you'll see that coming up. And we're currently a little over $3 billion in value in the TERS, okay? The total city is probably gonna come in around 12.5 billion. So 3 billion of that will be in the TERS. So as that dollar comes up, that increment, and we make, it's all part of an agreement on the front end. The city receives about 65% of what's here, what's collected out here off our tax rate. The other 35% goes back into the TERS to pay off certain infrastructure projects, roads, water, sewer, drainage, those types of things, as well as like this library. So the good news is this library, 23 or $24 million in expense, it will actually be completely paid for, debt-free, and everything else by 2029, all because of the TERS. The TERS has the cash in it to make this payment. Had it been another type of building outside of the TERS, it would have had 20, 25-year bonds to it. But this building will be paid for when the TERS is paid for, which is in 2029. And while we're on that, when that happens and the debt and everything associated with the TERS is paid for, we should see 10 cents, something of that nature, coming back to the city. So we should see a lowering of our tax rate here at the end of the decade. We've just got to figure out how we're getting there, right? So that's a good thing. The TERS has actually put a tremendous value on the ground. It's now going to be paid for, and we're going to reap the benefits of that. That's in a very simplistic nutshell. The financial advisors would have been up here for 30 minutes and gone through it. So, next question. Good stuff. All right. Ready to move on?
Well, Mayor, we did have a couple
Do we
quick
have any
questions.
online?
A couple online.
Okay.
One, more specifically about the library, asking if food and drink will be sold here. I don't believe there are any plans for
Sold or
sold
allowed here?
on site.
We have a space for vending. We have a space for vending, but it's difficult to make coffee shops, et cetera, pay in libraries, so we have no plans for that. But we'll allow people to have a limited amount of food and drink until the carpets are broken in, at least.
So a follow-up question to that, and this may be important. So the outdoor patio up here, which is an incredible space, I could see someone wanting to have a meet and greet or some kind of a mixer type event with that space.
Yes.
Could they bring drinks and food and that type of thing?
Certainly, meeting rooms are definitely going to be, people are going to be able to have food and drink in the meeting rooms. As you say, our reader's porch will have food and drink there as well. And occasionally we'll do programs that have food and drink involved in them in the various other spaces. So yeah, we're going to have lots of opportunities for people.
Good.
People enjoy themselves more when there's food and drink involved in it.
Yeah.
So.
Clay, did you hear that? It's reader's porch. I know you want sunset deck, but...
Oh, yes. So this branch is going to be open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, with staffed hours. So we'll have people in the building, depending on if it's a late night or an early night. We sometimes will be closing at 9. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll be open from 10 to 9. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday will be open from 9 to 6. And then we'll have a pilot program in this branch for something called VIP Access, where qualified patrons will be able to have access to our gallery area from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m.
Wonderful.
So.
Great. Any other questions online? Any other questions from the floor or the bench or the steps? What are we calling this?
What are we calling this?
What are we calling
The seating. Obviously, we have the stairs.
The
grand staircase. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So moving on, we're going to bring up our next set of gentlemen. I'd like our Mayor Pro Tem, Adrian Hernandez, and Councilmember Perez to come up for a minute. Yeah, and y'all welcome them. Yeah. Here, I'll sit in the middle. Y'all sit on. Okay. No. All right. None of us are over 5'7", so we're good. Speak for yourself. All right. So where you were sitting, you've got this, okay? And so can you want to talk a little bit about council strategic options and our strategic planning? And as you can well aware, City of Pearland is a pretty large organization, okay? We have some 850 or so total employees. Probably half of that is fire and police alone. And then you got Public Works, and as we mentioned with Monica Parks, some large employee bases. And so, and we have a lot of things that are going on in our city. A lot of just services that we render for our citizens. So strategic planning is important because if we want to move a city, an organization in a certain direction, you got to have a plan to get there. Typically, organizations this size don't just automatically go in a certain direction. Instead, they have to be well thought out. We have to be strategic in how we do it. And so we did this for years and years, and then we kind of went through a period of time where we just really didn't have a lot of strategic planning with the council and the staff together. in the last couple of years, we've been bringing that back and establishing some very good goals and strategic plans. And so obviously our council has been a part of this. It's a partnership between our council and our staff. And so I want to talk this next segment a little bit about our strategic plan. We're going to roll this out. In fact, Josh and I have been talking about the talk of the town here on out, of highlighting some of our strategic plans and initiatives and how they tie together in each one of our talk of the town, just so we can highlight it and communicate what these plans are for our city. So I'm going to start with Member Perez a little bit and just share with us, if you will, just the experience of the last year and this year, and what this plan, means to you as a. And just so you'll know, Member Perez is going to be, is term limited. Will be leaving council here in a couple of months, and so I know he wants to leave on a good note with the city. And so, what has this strategic planning effort meant for you?
So for me, particularly, having been a part of a number of organizations, charitable organizations, chaired a number of committees, been on council, and own my own business. There's nothing more important to the efficiency and the effectiveness of an organization than camaraderie. COVID put a big dent in that for us. When I was first elected, me and the other council members that I served with, we were commonly at events together. We commonly had opportunity to share drinking bread and talk amongst ourselves and share some laughs and share some thoughts. With COVID kind of separating us and dividing us, that camaraderie was lost a bit, and we had new members roll on. And me and Member Hernandez spoke specifically about what was lost in that camaraderie and how we could regain that. And it was his initiative to bring back these council retreats where we could sit together and talk with a very loose agenda, but just specifically to focus on what do we all want to do together. Certainly we can all argue as to which oar is the best, but we all want to be rowing in the same direction. And that's generally what we wanted to get out of the council retreat.
Very good. Yeah, the analogy of rowing all in the same direction. Can you imagine 8 of us, and even staff, you get the executive staff together and you got 11, 12 people together and everybody's rowing in a different direction. That boat will just be doing this. It won't be moving. It'll just be turning around and round and round. So that gives us the opportunity to everybody going in the same direction. And our Mayor Pro Tem, Adrian Hernandez, you kind of pushed for this prior to me getting elected. And I know it was a conversation you and I had even during my election about what, where, and how could we implement this. So we've heard from Member Perez a little bit, but what other takes do you have with what this strategic planning has done for you?
When I was elected in 2018, I remember the first executive session we had, and we got back into that room. And that's where we do a lot of the talk about staff and things like that. And I remember having this conversation with Mayor Reed. I said we were doing evaluations for the senior employees, and I said, I have no clue if they're doing a great job or they're doing a bad job, because as a baby council member, you go in, you can come to things like this, and I applaud you for being here. I was sitting in those seats just like you are, trying to learn what I could about the city. But there's a degree to which you just can't know everything. And so coming into a decision-making role and not having all of that information was very frustrating to me. So I talked to Mayor Reed about it, and he made some changes to kind of help, provide more of a process for us for the staff evaluations, and that grew into a larger conversation about, we get into these roles, making decisions, and staff and other council members prior to you have put in a lot of effort to do strategic planning, and they're looking easily 5 years at least, if not sometimes 10 and 15-year, 20-year plans exist, and it's hard to really find your connection to that plan as a member of council. So it was really important to me from coming in as a new council member, not having that institutional knowledge that some of my fellow council members had, to gain what I could from them in a way that wasn't restricted. Like, we've had these state laws that restrict us from, talking about city business off the dais. And so, there are some restrictions on what we can talk about outside of meetings. So putting us in that position to where we could just kind of, relax a little bit, talk more freely about what our vision is for the city, and find the opportunities to craft a vision that incorporates everyone on council, and then really feel that strong connection to that vision, to that plan. Mayor Reed set it in motion, and when you came on, Mayor, you really kind of said, let's do it. And I think we found that now. This is the second year, and we've refined the vision. I think now we've got a much clearer pathway forward, which I think is not just a benefit to council or to people who may be incoming new council members as we move forward, but it's definitely of great benefit to the residents of the city, because you have a council now that's working all towards something, that is a shared vision. We're your representatives. You may not have all voted for each one of us up here, right, but we all have our constituencies, and be able to bring that perspective from those constituencies together, marry that, find the commonalities, and move forward with that. And then the last thing I'll say, Mayor, that I think was also really important about this is going back to those staff evaluations. It was hard for me to make a decision when I didn't feel like we were giving staff very clear direction. And I think this, coming directly from council, having the buy-in from each one of our council members, has given staff that direction. And I know you also helped us to set up these checkpoints, right, which you and I spoke, and I likened it to a progress report where Dad would say, boy, you better study your English or study your math. Now we're able to have those checkpoints, so when the report card comes in, you're not surprised that you don't get your new Nintendo or whatever it is, because you didn't follow up on your project report.
Yeah, I'll echo and talk a little bit about that, because we have, the council has 3 employees: city manager, city attorney, and the municipal judge. And all other employees flow from them, whether it's through the legal office or most of them through the city manager. And so when you're sitting and trying to evaluate performance and you don't have clear objectives and clear goals for those employees to follow, it's hard to give a clear evaluation. Each one of us, if you're employed by someone else, you're given direction, you're given goals, you're given something to look at. And so we were able to take this and then with our employees set clear agenda and goals, and it gives the staff something, guardrails, if you will. They understand where and what the council's wanting, and so now we can evaluate them based on what's written. And to the point of a progress report, I think it's important, especially in the city manager's position, we'll have kind of the annual review and we'll set the goals for the year. But a lot of these goals, they're not going to be accomplished in 1 year. I mean, these are goals that we're setting in motion for 2, 3, 4, a decade, and we need to know the progress. And so I also think it's important that mid-year, so you'll see this on an agenda. Sometimes you'll see the city manager having an evaluation once every 6 months. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a checkup. We need to sit down with our employee and say how, where, and why, what's going on with our goals. And if we see something that's off, I think it would be wrong if we saw something off and we waited till the year to tell them. Instead, you have that mid-year check-in and you go, maybe it needs to tweak a little bit. Maybe it needs to move in this direction. And so it gives that direct dialogue with our employees, and I think that's good. But also, I'll ask each one of you, you can see these are the actual priorities, and then these are initiatives. And if the initiative doesn't tie back to a priority, we don't need to do it. I mean, it has to have a strategic purpose. So I'll ask Member Perez, what of these, and we all kind of looked and put what our number 1 priority was. What was your number 1 priority?
Well, I'd say, I would hate to say a number 1. I would say the one that I think is closest to my heart, or the 2 that are closest to my heart, is prioritizing drainage throughout Pearland I think anybody who follows us closely knows I'm a civil engineer by profession. I started work here as a staff member 2 weeks after Ike. I was pulling people out of homes during Harvey. I wanted to make sure that we had an aggressive, preemptive approach to our next drainage event. And so we had some healthy debate and some healthy conversation about how we accomplish that, but we all agreed that we cannot continue to act reactively to drainage events. We must get ahead of it. Then we all agreed that there had to be some coalition amongst us, and we're going to generate revenue for that, since the general fund, which that would come from, most of those funds come from, is so competitive. We just didn't have the additional revenue to be aggressive like we felt like we needed to. So I think that was a great priority for us to discuss, and it's probably the culmination of a 2.5 year conversation to put us in a direction which we all recently voted upon. The other one that is very important to me is the Entrepreneurial Hub. Again, as a small business owner who lives and works in Pearland, or actually I aspire to live and work in Pearland. I had to move my office outside of Pearland because we just didn't have the office space here. Breaks my heart to not have Pearland in my business office anymore, and I want to return to that. I know there's a lot of people who have an entrepreneurial spirit and want to live and work close to each other. They call Pearland home, they love Pearland, but how do we give them opportunity as a community to make that dream come true? Our Economic Development Corporation's plan, as directed by council, had historically been recruiting large businesses into Pearland and making sure that the jobs come with them. And we've had great success. Lower Kirby is a great example of that, along with others sprinkled throughout the community. Kelsey Siebold, a great partner to us. But we realized that we would stagnate as that being our only plan for economic development. So through the Pearland Prosperity Committee, which came from the Pearland 2020 plan, and also council strategic priorities, we realized let's, instead of just recruiting them from without, let's try and grow them from within. And putting in place a plan to do that. Again, as a small business owner, knowing that you've got your community behind you and they're looking for ways to promote you and grow your business and go from one person working out of the garage or in a small WeWork space or a Regis space to having 100 to 200 to 300 employees. We want you here, we want to grow you here, we want to support you here, and we want you to bring those jobs here so that we can brag about you as much as you want to brag about us.
Very good. I'll ask you the same question. Out of these, I guess, the priorities, what is high on your, all of them are strong priorities, but, when we actually looked at it, there was one number one that outranked everyone else.
Right. That was trusted government.
Right.
And I see that as being integral in so many aspects of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
When I first got elected, I didn't really anticipate that I would have as many, I guess, life-changing experiences as I have had, just born out of conversations with people that have manifested into like real changes in the city that I think are, to borrow Mayor Reed's term, I use it all the time, make this a special place. Mm-hmm. And trusted government means so many things to me. As a former business owner here in the city, having had a business here for 12 years, that's actually what initially got me involved in Pearland politics. And but I've seen the strides that we've made there. We now have open counter. I think it's easier now to know where you can open a business, what type of business you can open, the process, the expense that goes along with that, the pre-development meetings we have. I think we've done a great job of just making government more open and accessible in that respect. And that was a lot of the conversation I had with our business community. So I think that goes along with so many things, even with resilient finances and strong economy. If we've got a strong business community, then we're going to be able to have a strong economy. We're going to be able to, have strong partners in this city to help us be resilient.
Right.
And the other part of it is even just trusted government, safe community go hand in hand. Because one of the most, just the memories that I have from just both the campaign trail and then being on council was when I was running for re-election. I had a conversation with a woman. I knocked on her door, we were chatting, and she told me, this was around the time of George Floyd, and she said, you know, I am scared to death. I have a teenage, black, autistic, high-functioning son that he's about to start driving, and I'm so afraid he's going to get pulled over and something's going to happen to him because he's high functioning, but he's autistic, and it scares me. Mm-hmm. And when I was able to tell her, look, this may not be something that you know, but hopefully this puts your heart at ease just a little bit. But I told her the stat that we have 100% of our patrol force in the city of Pearland is mental health certified. I said, no one has ever mentioned that to me. Right. No one has ever said that to me. But knowing that we made that a priority, that's trusted government at its finest, I think. And the great job our police department does just to stay connected to the community is a big part of that. And then the welcoming aspect. I think things like this library, again, trusted government because it's making it more accessible. Right. You got the county here, you got the city here, you've got events like this here, but that's also a welcoming community. It's just, trusted government, I think, is at the top because it's an integral part in everything that we do. I think that it's been an integral part of a lot of our discussions. For each one of the decisions that we've been making here recently, I know myself, and very rarely do I say that I'll speak for the council as a whole, but I know in my heart that every member of our council makes decisions knowing that at the end of the day, the residents have to trust that we're making those decisions with the best interest of our city at heart. And I know that we've got a council dedicated to doing that. Right. And yeah, I think these are all great, Mayor. And I'm just so happy. I mean, I say it a lot, but I'm really thankful that we've done this. I'm really thankful to my fellow council members, to city staff. This has given me so much more clarity on where we're going as a city. And
well, and I hear the same from our staff, that it gives them clarity. I mentioned it a minute ago, it's guardrails. They know where to go, and they don't have to venture this far or this far. They now know exactly where and what they need to be doing. But I want to thank both of you for your time and efforts in coming and joining. This is one of my goals this year, is getting our council involved in these talks of the town. We kind of set the pattern a year ago, trying to figure this out. And now that we figured it out, we want to bring the team as a part of it. You know, I know it's been billed as my talk of the town, but it's not. It's ours. It's a team effort, and so I thank both of you for joining me tonight and joining these folks that participated in this and spending an hour of your time here. So I thank you. Thank you both. Yeah, I got it. So we are rapidly gonna finish up here. So now I get to finish it out. And I want to follow up the discussion that we just had, because you've got the strategic priorities listed there, and then you have the initiatives. But at the end of the day, we have core principles, the core. Who are we in our gut? Who are we in our heart, okay? And as an organization, these are our rock bed. This is what we anchor our feet into. So all last year, as a newly elected official and as the mayor, I would get, from time to time, not every day, but certainly often enough, I get comments from people in the community that go, man, I had such and such come by my house, and they have just done above and beyond service. And I want to thank them for that. I don't even know the name of the person that came by, but they did such a great job, and I want to thank them for that. And so we would research and figure out who it was and send an attaboy or an attagirl, you know, type of comment to the people. But I wanted to do more than just an email. And so I asked staff towards the end of the year, I said, I want to come up with a mayor's challenge coin. That when somebody gets this type of a bragging on them, that I want to present them with the coin. And so on one side, it's kind of the logo. It's kind of a retro of the old city logo, which is kind of cool. Retro is coming back. If you look at this building, some retro in this building. So you can see it. It's kind of the style. And on the other side, it's the why in action, okay? And it's the why we do what we do. It's innovation, trust, integrity, respect. We respect our customers. We respect our people. Teamwork. Like I said, it's not just me. It's not just one person. It's all of us working together. And then ownership. So many of our employees take ownership of what they do. And when we see that happen, in almost every single one of the cases that I've given these away, so we went back and we kept track of every last one of them from last year, and we've gone back and we've given the coins out one-on-one. And the beauty of that is we're not doing it in a big fanfare. We're doing it, it's one-on-one. And the funniest and the funnest part of it is I come walking in the room and they're having a one-on-one and they're going, why is the mayor here? And they just, why is the mayor here? And I said, relax, it's a good thing. And so it's a token of appreciation. It doesn't value a lot. I mean, they're a few bucks a piece. So it's not that. It's the fact that I want to stop in a moment in time and thank them for what they do. I'm a marker guy. My wife knows this. When things happen in our lives, when we've done something in business or we've done something out there, we take the time to celebrate it. We take a moment in time. We might go on a trip. We might buy something special for ourselves. We might do something, but I look at it every time I see it. I remember what I did to get that. And I want employees to build a chest of these so they remember why they got that. And it's the why in action. The reason they get up and go to work every day are those core principles. The initiatives that you see on that sheet may change from year to year, day to day. But this is why they do it. We want to earn your respect. I said this the other night. I was telling my son this. I said, you know, you cannot buy trust. You have to earn it, okay? And because trust can get broken that quick, okay? But we have to work every day to earn your trust, okay? And that's what we're doing. That's part of what this engagement's about. I want to make sure that we engage our community and you trust us, okay? And I'm going to say there's a part of our city that we are working hard to gain your trust each and every day. Every one of you has a card sitting at your seat here. On the very back, it's a new name and a new look about Pearland Water. We've struggled in our water area. We've struggled. And I'm all about calling out our problems. We call it out, we work on it, and we try to make it better. This is what Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez was talking about. We have to earn your respect. We have to earn your trust because it got broken along the way. You can go to this QR code and you're going to start seeing what the new branding and the new look is going to be, the transparency in your bill. Here in the coming months, you'll have the opportunity to download an app and you'll be able to track your own water usage within 24 hours of your usage. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to set parameters that if you know you don't use more than, I'll just use 300 gallons in a day, and you go over 300 gallons, it's going to send you an alert. It's going to send you an alert in about 24 hours. You went over 300 gallons today. So you can start digging in and finding out what's going on, okay? Rather than months down the road finding out, okay? So we're trying to earn that respect. We're trying to earn that trust back in our water billing services and all of that. And I think we will get there, okay? And it's going to take not just staff and not just the council doing it. It takes our constituents, our customers, to work with us as we do it. But I want to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. It means a lot to me that you took some time out of your schedule to be here. Engagement is important to me. It's important to our council. And I tell people all the time, I want you to email me if you have an issue, because don't assume that I know about it. Don't assume that I know what the issue is. I can't help you. I can't force a change. I can't go out there and solve your problem if I don't know about it. And I think I have a pretty good track record. If people reach out to me, we're very, very quick to respond back, and we get on it and try to solve those questions as humanly possible. And I'll just say now, from time to time, the answer still might be no. And it's going to be a reason for that no. But I'd rather be honest with you than lead you down a path. But I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. Your attendance means a lot to me. This building is for your use. This is your building. This is your tax dollars at work. Everybody was asking me, can I sit here? Well, it's your chair. You own it, okay? And that's how I believe our buildings and all of that. And the last thing I want to say, we had partners in building this building. Spa Glass was our contractor. I believe we did a construction manager at risk project here, so they led this project. And our architects were PGAL. We have representatives from them that are here tonight, and they did a tremendous job building this building and bringing it out of the ground and completing it. And then the very last thing I want to say is I want to thank Mayor Reed. He's here tonight. This building was a dream for him, and he's able to participate in this tonight, and was here, moral support for me and others. So I want to thank him for his partnership and his leadership and his mentorship over the years. And this building isn't quite 100% open for business. We have about a week left, so we will be cutting the ribbon on this building on April the 9th, a week from Saturday at 9:00 a.m. Please come back. We'll have all the festivities, and this building will be open for business. And I want to thank